Captain Aaron Hale stood at the edge of the landing platform, staring at the vast alien city that stretched before him. Towers of shimmering crystal reflected the pale light of Virelia's twin suns, and streams of airborne vehicles wove through the sky like glowing ribbons. He had seen holograms of this place in mission briefings, but nothing compared to the real sight. The city pulsed with life, but it was an alien life, precise, controlled, and yet somehow unnervingly beautiful. Behind him, his team of human scientists and engineers moved cautiously, their boots clanking softly against the metal of the landing bay. No one spoke. The air was thick with tension, but also excitement. First contact was a moment humanity had dreamed of for decades, and now it was real. Aaron carried the gift in his hands, wrapped carefully in a transparent container that glimmered faintly with energy. It was small, almost unassuming, a human device designed to store immense energy efficiently. It was simple to humans, a marvel of ingenuity and practicality, but to the aliens, it was an artifact unlike anything they had ever seen. The gift was meant as a gesture of peace, a token of human creativity. The delegation from the Virelian High Court waited at the far end of the platform. They emerged silently, their movements deliberate and graceful. Their skin shimmered like polished metal under the suns, and their multiple eyes blinked independently, taking in every detail of the human visitors. At the center stood Zyphara, the alien queen, taller than any human, her form regal, elegant, and completely alien. Her limbs flowed like liquid sculpture, and the subtle glow around her suggested she was more than a mere creature. She was a living symbol of her people. As Aaron approached, Zyphara's gaze fixed on him. There was no expression as humans understood it. No smile, no frown, no hint of curiosity. She simply regarded him with a stillness that was almost frightening. Aaron felt a shiver run down his spine. He knelt slightly and extended the gift toward her. "Your Majesty, I bring this as a symbol of humanity's respect and desire for peace. It represents our ingenuity, our ability to create, and our hope for cooperation between our species." The moment he placed the device in her hands, Zyphara froze. Her fluid movements ceased entirely, her multiple eyes fixed on the gift. Even the air around her seemed to still. The court fell silent. Her guards, who had always moved with precise efficiency, tilted their heads, confused. A few whispered to each other, though Aaron couldn't understand the language. The humans watched, holding their breath. This was not what they expected. They had anticipated curiosity, perhaps wariness, but not this frozen astonishment. "Is she alive?" whispered Dr. Myra Solis, the team's chief scientist, her voice trembling slightly. Aaron shook his head slowly. "Yes, but something about the gift, it's different. She isn't harmed. She's thinking." Minutes passed. Aaron could feel every second stretching endlessly. Zyphara's stillness was mesmerizing. He realized that this wasn't shock or fear. It was comprehension. Something in the gift had challenged her understanding, challenged her assumptions about humans. The small device in her hands, so ordinary by human standards, was extraordinary to her species. Finally, she spoke, or rather, a series of harmonic tones filled the air, vibrating through the platform itself. The humans flinched, but Aaron stayed calm, focusing on her presence. The tones were not words, at least not in any language the humans knew. Yet they carried meaning, power, awe, curiosity. It was as if the queen was processing something so vast that it temporarily froze her mind and body alike. The alien court murmured, some moving closer, others retreating. The queen's advisors appeared tense, their luminescent skins flickering with emotion. Whispers in alien tongues filled the space. Aaron understood none of it, but he could sense the change. Something fundamental had shifted in the court. Captain Aaron stepped forward again, careful to maintain respect. "Your Majesty, we mean no harm. This is a gesture of friendship." Still, Zyphara did not move. Her eyes, each one moving independently, remained locked on the gift. Slowly, a subtle pulse emanated from it, faint but noticeable. The energy seemed to interact with the queen's aura, as if communicating in a language humans could not perceive. Aaron's heart raced. One of Zyfara's advisors finally spoke, the sound low and cautious. The humans could only guess from the tone that he was addressing the queen, questioning her stillness. The court held its collective breath. Then something unexpected happened. Zyfara's body shifted slightly, almost imperceptibly. The pulse of energy from the gift intensified, bathing the platform in a soft glow. The queen's form flickered for a moment, like a reflection in water disturbed by a pebble. And yet she remained standing, frozen, as though the simple act of holding the gift had triggered a profound internal process. Dr. Solis whispered, "Captain, what is that? It's like she's absorbing it." Aaron nodded, equally awed. "Not absorbing, understanding. The gift, it's making her understand humans in a way no one else ever could." For hours, the humans observed. Zyfara did not eat, did not speak, did not move beyond subtle pulses. The queen's court slowly adapted to her stillness, performing their duties quietly around her. But Aaron could see the undercurrents of tension. Some courtiers were frightened, others intrigued. The gift had disrupted centuries of routine, hierarchy, and certainty. As night fell over the twin suns' horizon, the city of Virlia glowed like a field of stars brought to the ground. Aaron felt a strange connection to the alien world, a mixture of awe and responsibility. They had arrived as visitors, armed with words and gifts. But this one small device born of human creativity had changed the dynamic completely. Humans were no longer merely guests, they had left a mark, subtle but undeniable. In a quiet moment, Aaron turned to his team. "We need to watch, not interfere. Let her process it." This could be the most important first contact in history, Dr. Solis nodded. "But what if she never moves again?" Aaron considered this. "Then we've forced humanity to be seen in a way no one else could. That alone could be enough to earn respect." Hours passed. Aaron found himself unable to sleep, pacing near the platform's edge. Zyfara remained motionless in her chamber, and yet the air itself seemed to hum with energy. Occasionally, faint colors danced across her skin, reflections of the gift's pulse interacting with her natural aura. He realized this was more than a simple reaction. It was the birth of understanding, a bridge forming between two very different species. Suddenly, a subtle change caught his eye. Zyfara's form shimmered, and a faint outline of movement traced across her limbs. It was not a return to normal, but a sign that the process was beginning. The queen was responding, but on her terms, in her way. Aaron's heart raced. They had made history today, not with weapons or diplomacy, but with a small token of human ingenuity. The gift had spoken in a language beyond words, and for the first time, humans were seen not as primitive outsiders, but as beings capable of thought, creativity, and unpredictability, qualities even the most advanced aliens could not ignore. The night stretched on, and Aaron remained vigilant, knowing that the moments to come would shape the future of humanity's place among the stars. For now, all he could do was wait, watch, and hope that his simple human gift would continue to bridge the gap between their worlds. Somewhere deep inside, he felt the stirrings of possibility, an unspoken promise that humanity, in all its imperfection and creativity, had already begun to change the course of an entire alien civilization. And perhaps in the process, Zyfara herself would be forever changed. The next morning, the twin suns of Virlia rose slowly over the crystalline city, scattering light across the towering spires. The air shimmered, as though it held a secret waiting to reveal itself. Captain Aaron Hale and his team had spent a sleepless night watching the alien queen, Zyfara, and her stillness continued to puzzle them. But today, they sensed something different in the air, a subtle tension, a quiet energy that hinted at the beginnings of a revelation. Inside the palace, Zyfara remained motionless in her throne room, the small human gift cradled gently in her hands. Her glowing skin pulsed faintly, a rhythm that seemed almost like breathing. Her multiple eyes, each moving independently, tracked patterns in the air, focusing not on the humans, not on her court, but on something unseen. It was as though the gift had unlocked a part of her mind that had been dormant for centuries. Outside the throne room, the court whispered. The Virelian advisors were tense, their iridescent skins flickering with agitation. Some feared that the queen had been harmed, while others were more cautious, sensing that something significant was unfolding. The palace had never seen an object like the human device, and no one understood why the queen remained frozen in place. Captain Aaron and Dr. Myra Solis were allowed to observe from a secure chamber overlooking the throne room. The humans had learned quickly that any interference could disrupt what was happening. The queen's reaction to the gift was not a sickness, nor was it paralysis. It was comprehension, an understanding so profound that she could not move until her mind had fully absorbed the implications. "She's thinking," Myra whispered, barely audible. "But thinking about what? We gave her a simple gift." Aaron shook his head slowly. "It's not simple. It's human. She's realizing something about us she's never considered before, about creativity, ingenuity, unpredictability. Humans are different than she expected." The minutes stretched into hours, and Zyphara's court grew restless. Some courtiers dared to approach, leaning close to whisper into the queen's ears. But she did not respond in the ways they expected. Her stillness remained, but her subtle energy pulses intensified. The human gift seemed to resonate with her own life force, as though it were a key unlocking hidden doors inside her mind. In a private chamber, Aaron discussed the situation with his team. "We need to be patient," he said. "Any sudden action might ruin this. We've already changed something about this court just by being here. The queen is learning. The gift is making her see humanity in a way she never has." One of the human engineers, Jalen, frowned. "But what if the court decides we're a threat? They already seem nervous." "They might try to take the gift, or worse." Aaron nodded. "Then we'll deal with it. For now, we observe. Let her process it." Hours passed, and slowly, subtle changes appeared in the court. Zyphara's advisors whispered more urgently, glancing at one another, their glowing skins flickering with unease. Some courtiers knelt, others straightened, as though acknowledging an unspoken shift in power. The queen's frozen posture was no longer a weakness. It had become a symbol of authority, a pause that demanded attention. Aaron realized that the humans had unintentionally altered the political balance of Virelia. The gift, meant as a gesture of peace, had become a catalyst. Humans were now participants in a delicate dance of alien politics, and their actions would be watched closely. Meanwhile, Zyphara's inner mind began to explore the nature of the gift. It was not just a device to store energy. It represented human thought patterns, ingenuity, and the ability to solve problems in ways that defied expectation. Her species prized logic, order, and predictability, but humans were different. They embraced chaos, creativity, and unpredictability. That combination, Zyphara realized, was powerful. She sensed patterns in the device that mirrored human adaptability. It could store energy, yes, but the way it did so was elegant, efficient, and inventive. Humans did not merely create to survive. They created to explore, to improve, to challenge limits. The queen had underestimated a species that thrived on ingenuity and courage, and now she understood the potential that humans possessed. In the palace corridors, whispers grew louder. Some courtiers speculated that the queen had been affected by a human weapon, while others suggested that the device was a symbol of loyalty or threat. Fear and curiosity spread in equal measure. The humans had not expected their presence to cause such ripples, but Aaron understood the power of subtle influence. Sometimes, the smallest gesture could change everything. By mid-afternoon, Zyphara's stillness began to evolve. A faint vibration emanated from her body, almost imperceptible but noticeable to those who watched closely. Her eyes blinked in synchronized patterns, and the subtle glow around her intensified. It was not movement yet, but it was a sign that the Queen's comprehension was deepening. Aaron watched closely. "She's responding," he said. "Not to us, not to her court, but to the gift. She's learning. She's processing humanity in a way that's transformative." Myra nodded, her eyes wide. "It's incredible. We came here as guests, and we're witnessing the evolution of an alien mind. And it's because of something so human, so simple." Outside the throne room, the city of Virlia carried on, unaware of the extraordinary event unfolding within the palace. Air vehicles glided past crystalline towers, and citizens went about their routines, yet the energy of the palace seemed to pulse outward, a subtle hum in the atmosphere. Something had changed. The humans were no longer just observers. They were part of a living experiment, one that could reshape an entire civilization. Late in the day, the Queen's pulse intensified again. Aaron felt it through the chamber's observation window, a rhythm that was almost communicative. He realized that the gift had not merely impressed her intellect. It had engaged her emotions, her sense of wonder, and her understanding of potential. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but also capable of empathy, courage, and creative problem-solving. Zyphara's species had never fully grasped these qualities. "Captain," Myra said quietly, "do you think she'll ever move again?" Aaron considered this carefully. "I think she will, but when she does, it won't be the same Queen we met today. She's changing internally. And when she emerges, humans will not just be visitors, will be recognized as something more." As the twin suns dipped toward the horizon, the palace entered a quiet twilight. Aaron and his team remained vigilant, watching the subtle shifts in Zyphara's form. Suddenly, a soft pulse radiated from the gift, stronger than before. The Queen's frozen stance wavered, and for a brief moment she blinked all of her eyes in unison. The court gasped. Even the guards leaned forward, uncertain how to react. Aaron's heart raced. "This is it," he whispered, "the beginning of understanding." Then, in a moment of clarity, Zyphara moved. Slowly, deliberately, she lowered the human device to a pedestal nearby. Her limbs flowed with fluid grace, and her eyes scanned the court. It was not panic nor fear, it was recognition. The Queen had seen something she had never encountered before: human ingenuity, creativity, and spirit, and she understood it. The court erupted into whispers and murmurs. Some bowed deeply, others stepped back in awe. The Queen's advisors exchanged anxious glances, unsure how to interpret this transformation. Zyphara, for the first time, addressed the humans directly. Her voice was a series of harmonic tones, but the translators captured her meaning. "Your species is remarkable. You possess qualities we have long overlooked: creativity, unpredictability, courage, empathy. You are unlike any we have known." Aaron felt a swell of pride. Humans had always underestimated themselves in the vastness of the universe, but here, before the ruler of a powerful alien civilization, their value was being recognized. Over the following hours, Zyphara continued to study the gift, moving with careful deliberation. She examined its design, its energy flow, its efficiency, and she began asking questions about humanity, about why they created, why they risked, why they explored. The humans answered as best they could, realizing that dialogue was no longer just about diplomacy. It was about sharing the essence of what made humans human. As night fell fully over Virlia, Aaron and his team left the observation chamber. They walked through the palace halls in awe, aware that the simple act of giving a gift had created ripples far larger than anyone could have imagined. Humanity was being seen, truly seen, in a way no alien civilization had ever done before, and the implications were enormous. Myra paused in the hallway, looking back at the throne room. "Captain, what do we do next? We've already altered the course of her civilization just by being here." Aaron smiled faintly, a mixture of awe and resolve in his eyes. "We continue to observe, we continue to engage. But we don't interfere. Let her process, let her people learn, and above all, we let humanity shine through. That's our greatest gift, and it's already working." The palace remained alive with subtle energy, as if the city itself had taken notice. Outside, the twin moons rose, casting pale light across crystalline towers. Aaron felt a strange connection to this alien world, an understanding that humans were capable of leaving marks not through conquest, but through creativity, courage, and thoughtful gestures. He returned to his quarters that night, exhausted but exhilarated. The Queen's transformation was only beginning, but the humans had already achieved something extraordinary. They had shown that even a small gift, given with respect and intelligence, could transcend barriers of species, culture, and understanding. And somewhere deep inside the palace, Zyphara continued to absorb, to learn, and to reconsider everything she had believed about humanity. The frozen queen was gone. In her place stood a ruler poised to see humans not as outsiders, but as equals, an evolution that had begun with one simple, thoughtful gesture. Aaron looked out over the city one last time before sleep claimed him. He knew the days ahead would bring challenges, political intrigue, and tests of trust. But he also knew something else. Humans had already planted the seed of respect and understanding in a civilization far older and more advanced than their own. And that, he realized, might be the most powerful gift of all. The morning sun of Vierlia cast a soft glow over the palace, illuminating towers that seemed to pulse with life. Inside, the atmosphere had changed entirely. Zyphara, the alien queen, no longer stood frozen. Her multiple eyes moved in synchronized focus, scanning every detail of the human delegation. The subtle glow around her now radiated authority, curiosity, and judgment. The court had returned to its routines, but there was tension in the air, a sense that the ordinary order of things had been disrupted. Captain Aaron Hale stepped forward, carrying a calm confidence he did not entirely feel. Humans had never faced anything like this, a ruler whose comprehension of their species had shifted in a single day. Zyphara's gaze settled on him, piercing yet calm. It was an assessment, a weighing of value. "You have shown me your gift," she intoned, her harmonic voice resonating through the throne room. "But a gift alone does not define your worth. To be recognized as equals, you must demonstrate the qualities that define your species: creativity, courage, and compassion. Only then will you truly be seen." Aaron nodded. "We understand, Your Majesty. We are ready for any challenge you set before us." A ripple of approval passed through the court, though it was subtle. Zyphara's multiple eyes seemed to focus on each human individually, measuring their resolve, their intelligence, their potential. "Then you will face the trials of Vierlia. They will test your mind, your spirit, and your capacity to act under pressure. Succeed, and you will earn my acknowledgement. Fail, and—" She left the sentence hanging, a silent warning that reverberated like a drumbeat through the palace. The first trial was deceptively simple. The humans were led to a chamber filled with a complex holographic maze. Walls of energy shifted constantly, creating paths that appeared and disappeared at random. At the center of the maze lay a small artifact, a crystal that pulsed with a soft light. Aaron understood immediately that retrieving it would require more than physical ability. It demanded observation, analysis, and creative problem-solving. "Stay calm," Aaron whispered to his team. "Watch patterns, not walls. Look for the logic behind the chaos." Hours passed as they navigated the shifting paths. Dr. Myra Solis noticed subtle variations in the light patterns, a sequence that repeated every few minutes. "It's a rhythm," she said. "If we move in sync with the pulses, we can reach the crystal safely." Following her lead, the team moved carefully, anticipating each shift. The crystal lay within reach, but a final obstacle remained, an energy barrier that responded to intention rather than touch. Aaron focused, imagining the barrier's shape and potential weaknesses. Slowly it dissolved, and the crystal was theirs. Zyphara observed silently. She had created no physical threat, no traps designed to harm, but the challenge had tested their creativity and perception. The humans had succeeded. The queen's subtle glow intensified. She had expected ingenuity, and they had delivered. The second trial was far more demanding. The humans were transported to a barren landscape outside the palace, a wasteland filled with jagged rocks and strange atmospheric currents. Here, they were tasked with survival. Food, water, and shelter were limited. The humans had to demonstrate not just intelligence, but courage, teamwork, and adaptability. At first, the conditions seemed almost impossible. Toxic winds swept across the plain, jagged rocks threatened injury, and strange creatures scuttled along the ground, watching them with unblinking eyes. Aaron took the lead, guiding his team carefully. "Observe everything," he said. "Nothing is random here. Use your senses and your judgment." Myra spotted a patch of naturally occurring mineral pools. By analyzing the chemical composition, she determined which pools were safe to drink from. Jalen discovered that certain plants had resilient fibers that could be woven into makeshift shelters. Aaron noticed patterns in the wind currents that allowed them to move safely without drawing attention from predatory creatures. As the day progressed, the humans faced unexpected challenges: a sudden storm, shifting terrain, and aggressive native animals. Each time they adapted, using creativity and teamwork to survive. Zyphara observed from a distance, her perception extending far beyond the humans' awareness. She noted not only their successes but their willingness to help one another, their courage in the face of danger, and their ability to remain calm under stress. When the humans finally returned to the palace, exhausted but triumphant, the queen's tone carried approval. "You have demonstrated courage under pressure, but the final trial will test your empathy, your understanding of life beyond your own species." The last trial was unlike the first two. The humans were placed in a chamber filled with holographic simulations of Virelian citizens, some in peril, some in conflict. They had to make choices affecting the simulated lives of these individuals. The challenge was moral, ethical, and deeply personal. Each decision reflected the humans' capacity for empathy, understanding, and foresight. Aaron noticed that the simulations mirrored potential consequences of real-world decisions. If they acted selfishly, harm would come to the holographic citizens. If they acted with care, even at personal risk, lives would be preserved. The team debated each choice carefully, balancing logic with morality. At one point, Myra had to choose between saving a group of simulated Virelians trapped in a collapsing structure and retrieving a critical energy source that could stabilize the simulation's environment. After a tense moment, she chose to save the lives first, knowing the energy could be managed later. Aaron watched silently, proud of her decision. This was the essence of humanity, understanding that life and empathy were more valuable than resources or efficiency. Throughout the trial, Zyphara observed with keen interest. Her multiple eyes focused on each human's choices, recording, analyzing, and interpreting. She saw courage, creativity, and empathy manifested in action, not words. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but their unpredictability was guided by moral intuition and adaptability, qualities that no other species had demonstrated in her experience. As the trial concluded, the simulations faded, leaving the humans standing in the chamber. Zyphara appeared before them, radiant and commanding. "You have completed the trials of Virelia," she said. "You have shown ingenuity, courage, and compassion. These are the qualities that define your species, and they are qualities that cannot be ignored." Aaron felt a swell of pride. Humanity had not only survived these trials, they had proven their worth in a way that even an advanced alien civilization could not dismiss. The Queen continued, her tone softer now, yet filled with authority. Your species is remarkable. You embrace unpredictability, yet act with purpose. You create, you protect, you adapt. You are not perfect, but your imperfections are the source of your strength. You have earned my recognition, and the respect of my people will follow. The court, which had been tense and cautious, now seemed to shift. Courtiers bowed, guards straightened, and subtle nods of approval were exchanged. Aaron realized that the trials had not only tested humans, they had also tested the court. Zyphara had used the humans' ingenuity to challenge the perceptions of her own species. Later, in a quiet moment, Aaron spoke to Zyphara privately. Your Majesty, we are honored, but we never expected recognition. We only wanted to offer friendship. Zyphara regarded him, her gaze intense but not threatening. Friendship is earned, Captain Hale. You have earned it through action, not words. Your gift was the spark, but it was your spirit, your courage, and your empathy that proved the value of your species. Aaron nodded. We only hope to show that humans are more than what others expect. We didn't know it could change so much. The Queen's tone softened, a subtle warmth in her harmonic voice. Change is inevitable. Recognition of worth is the reward. You have given my people and myself a new understanding of humans. That is more than any gift could convey. As the day ended, Aaron and his team returned to their quarters, exhausted but exhilarated. They had faced trials designed to test every facet of their being, mind, body, and spirit, and they had emerged stronger, wiser, and more respected than they had imagined possible. Outside the palace, the city of Virlia glowed under the twin moons. The air hummed with subtle energy, as if the world itself had acknowledged the transformation within the palace. Humans were no longer merely guests or observers. They had become symbols of ingenuity and courage, their presence altering the perception of an entire civilization. Aaron sat quietly, reflecting on the events of the day. The gift had started it, yes, but it was humanity's spirit that had carried them through. Creativity, courage, empathy, these were the traits Zyphara recognized, traits that could not be replicated or simulated. And in doing so, humans had earned not only respect, but a place in the consciousness of a species far older and more advanced. He looked out at the glowing towers, feeling the weight of possibility. Humanity's journey among the stars was only beginning, but here, on Virlia, they had proven that their greatest strength lay not in weapons, technology, or power, but in the essence of what it meant to be human. Myra approached quietly. Captain, do you think they'll ever see humans the way we see ourselves? Aaron smiled faintly. They already do, Myra. They already do. And now it's up to us to continue showing them what we're capable of. The palace slept under the twin moons, but inside, Zyphara remained awake, contemplating humans and their unpredictable brilliance. Her understanding of them had deepened far beyond initial expectations. She realized that while humans might seem chaotic and fragile, their ingenuity and courage made them uniquely formidable. In her eyes, humanity was no longer a curiosity. It was a species worthy of attention, respect, and perhaps friendship. And for Aaron and his team, that recognition marked not an end but a beginning. The trials had tested them, shaped them, and elevated them in ways they had not anticipated. Humanity had earned respect not through dominance or conquest, but through the quiet demonstration of what made them extraordinary: creativity, courage, and compassion. The next challenges, Aaron knew, would be diplomatic, cultural, and political. But humanity had already shown that their most potent weapon was not a tool or a machine. It was the human spirit itself, capable of leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy. The palace of Virlia shimmered under the light of the twin suns, casting long, crystal reflections across its towers. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. Zyphara, the alien queen, had risen from the trials of Violia transformed, not merely in understanding, but in purpose. Her once cautious gaze now radiated recognition, curiosity, and a deep respect for the humans who had dared to enter her world and prove themselves. Captain Aaron Hale stood at the edge of the throne room, the air buzzing with anticipation. The human delegation followed closely, each member tense yet confident. They had completed Zyphara's trials, navigating a shifting maze, surviving a hostile wasteland, and demonstrating moral judgment under simulated crisis. Each challenge had tested them physically, mentally, and emotionally. They had emerged not just victorious, but validated, and the Queen's response would shape the future of humanity's place among the stars. Zyphara's multiple eyes scanned them with a fluid precision, a pulse of radiant energy surrounding her. "You have proven yourselves, humans," she said, her harmonic voice resonating in the room. "Through creativity, courage, and empathy, you have shown qualities my people and I had long underestimated. Your species is unpredictable, yet purposeful. Fragile, yet remarkably resilient. You have earned not only my respect but the recognition of my people." Aaron felt his chest swell. Humanity had always been defined by its imperfection, its unpredictability, its flaws, its curiosity. But now those traits were being celebrated, seen as strengths by a civilization far older and more advanced than their own. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing respectfully, "we are honored. We never sought recognition, only understanding, but we are grateful for your acknowledgement." Zyphara's form shifted subtly, a flowing elegance that conveyed both authority and warmth. "Recognition is earned, Captain Hale, and you have earned it. The gift you presented, a simple device, was the spark. But it was your spirit, your decisions, and your courage that revealed the true nature of your species." A murmur passed through the court. The Violian advisors, who had once doubted the humans, now observed them with cautious admiration. Guards straightened, and subtle bows of respect rippled through the palace attendants. The humans had not just passed the trials, they had altered the perception of an entire civilization. Zyphara extended her limb toward the pedestal where the human gift rested. Its soft energy pulsed, reflecting the Queen's recognition and the resonance it had created. "This device," she said, "is now a symbol, not of power, not of conquest, but of the spirit of your species. It embodies ingenuity, cooperation, and understanding. And through it, humans will always be remembered among the Violians not as outsiders, but as equals." Aaron stepped forward, taking in the Queen's words. "Your Majesty, we only wish to offer a gesture of peace. We never imagined it would have such an impact." Zyphara's eyes focused on him, multiple pupils moving independently, yet conveying a singular, profound understanding. "Peace is born not from words alone, Captain. It is born from understanding, from trust, and from the willingness to demonstrate one's values. Your species has done all of this and more. You have shown us that humans are capable of greatness in ways we could not anticipate." The humans were invited to a private chamber, where the Queen spoke to them directly. "You have faced the trials and emerged stronger, but there is more to leadership than skill and intelligence. Compassion, empathy, and the ability to adapt are qualities that define the enduring civilizations. These are the traits your species possesses in abundance." Myra, exhausted but exhilarated, asked quietly, "Your Majesty, what does this mean for us, for humanity?" Zyphara's harmonic tones filled the room, translating into clear words through the human translators. "It means that humanity now holds a place in the awareness of Violia. My people will see you not as outsiders but as equals, and this is only the beginning. Your ingenuity and courage have set the foundation for cooperation, for understanding, and for a future where our species may learn from one another." Aaron felt a surge of hope. They had not come to conquer, nor had they sought to dominate. They had come with a gift, curiosity, and the desire to communicate. Yet through those simple acts, they had proven humanity's worth in a way no one could have predicted. Over the following days, the humans engaged with the Virelian court. Dialogue flowed freely, bridging gaps in culture, technology, and understanding. Zyphara, now fully confident in her perception of humanity, encouraged collaboration. Scientists and engineers exchanged ideas, blending human creativity with Virelian precision. The humans demonstrated how their devices, their problem-solving techniques, and even their art could complement Virelian systems, sparking excitement among the advisors and citizens alike. Captain Aaron observed with quiet satisfaction. This was more than diplomacy. It was the building of trust, mutual respect, and genuine partnership. The trials had revealed human qualities, yes, but now it was action, collaboration, and shared purpose that would solidify their place among this alien civilization. Yet even as progress unfolded, subtle challenges remained. Some Virelians were hesitant, clinging to old beliefs that humans were chaotic and dangerous. Others were intrigued, eager to learn from a species whose creativity and courage defied convention. Zyphara handled each situation with grace, using the humans' achievements as proof of their worth. One evening, under the twin moons, Aaron was summoned to the Queen's private chamber. Zyphara stood beside the pedestal where the gift had first begun its transformative journey. "Captain Hale," she said, her multiple eyes reflecting the moon's light, "your gift has altered not just perception, but understanding. My people now see that strength is not only in power or control, but in ingenuity, compassion, and courage." Aaron nodded. "Your Majesty, it has been an honor to share humanity with your people. We only hope to show that our species is capable of more than appearances suggest." Zyphara's form shifted in subtle fluidity, a gesture of acknowledgement. "You have done more than that. You have changed the course of my civilization's perception. That is no small achievement." Over the next several weeks, the humans continued to demonstrate their abilities in practical ways. They repaired energy conduits, improved agricultural systems, and even introduced new methods of conflict resolution among minor disputes in the court. Each demonstration reinforced the lessons Zyphara had learned from the trials. Humans thrived not because of brute strength, but because of creativity, intelligence, and moral courage. Aaron realized that the gift, while small and simple, had catalyzed something far greater. It had begun a transformation in understanding, an evolution of perception that extended far beyond the palace walls. Humanity was no longer invisible in the galaxy. They were acknowledged, respected, and most importantly, understood. One evening, as the humans prepared to depart, Zyphara invited them to the highest tower of the palace. From there, they could see the entire city, the spires glowing under the twin moons. She spoke quietly, her harmonic voice soft yet resonant. "Captain Hale, your species has given us more than a device. You have given us insight. You have shown us that life, in all its forms, can contain unpredictability and greatness. You have reminded us that even the most advanced civilization can learn from those considered less developed." Aaron looked out at the city, feeling a deep connection to Virelia. "Your Majesty, we never expected to be seen in this way. But we are grateful, and we hope this is only the beginning of a lasting partnership." Zyphara's multiple eyes regarded him warmly. "It is only the beginning. My people will remember your actions, your decisions, and your spirit. The human species has earned a place in our awareness. That place will not be forgotten." As the humans departed the palace, the gift that had started it all pulsed gently in its container. It was no longer just a symbol of ingenuity. It had become a symbol of trust, understanding, and the bridging of civilizations. Aaron felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Humanity had arrived on Virelia as visitors and left as recognized equals. The twin moons bathed the city in silver light, reflecting off the crystalline towers and the glowing spires. Citizens moved through the streets, unaware of the subtle shift that had occurred in their queen and court. Yet the energy of change radiated outward, a gentle pulse that carried the promise of cooperation, curiosity, and mutual respect between species. Back on their ship, Aaron and his team prepared for departure. "We've done more than survive here," Myra said quietly. "We've shown that humans are capable of leaving a mark without force or domination." Aaron smiled. "That's the essence of humanity. We create, we explore, we connect. And sometimes the smallest gestures, like a simple gift, can have the largest impact." The engines hummed as the ship lifted from Virelia's surface. Aaron looked out one last time at the palace where Zyphara stood, watching. Her form was no longer frozen, no longer tentative. She was a queen transformed, her understanding of humans forever changed. She waved, and though the gesture was subtle, it conveyed something powerful: respect, acknowledgement, and curiosity for what humans would do next. As the ship soared into space, Aaron reflected on the journey. Humanity had faced the unknown, had been tested, and had emerged not only intact but celebrated. Their gift, simple, thoughtful, human, had bridged a gap that technology, diplomacy, and words alone could never have crossed. Somewhere in the vastness of Virelia, Zyphara continued to consider the implications of the humans' presence. Their ingenuity, courage, and compassion had shifted her perception, not just of one species, but of life, creativity, and potential. And in that understanding, a new era began, a future where humans and Virelians could share knowledge, insight, and perhaps even friendship. Captain Aaron Hale, looking at the stars through the ship's observation window, felt a quiet sense of hope. Humanity's journey among the stars had just begun, and they had already shown that their greatest strength was not in weapons, not in technology, but in the unpredictable brilliance of the human spirit. And somewhere far below, in the glowing city of Virelia, the alien queen's multiple eyes followed their departure, her thoughts filled with possibilities, questions, and the promise of a new understanding. Humanity had given a gift, and in doing so, they had given an entire civilization a reason to reconsider everything they thought they knew. It was the beginning of a friendship, a partnership, and a legacy that would stretch across worlds. And it all began with one small, thoughtful gesture, a gift given, a spirit recognized, and the timeless power of being human. The stars outside the ship stretched endlessly, but Aaron knew this. The galaxy was no longer just a space to explore. It was a place where humanity's ingenuity, courage, and compassion could leave an indelible mark. And with that realization, he smiled, ready for the journeys to come.